Yes, my dear friends, welcome back to the channel. Very good morning to you guys all out there, wherever you are on the continent of Africa, in Europe, in America, in Canada, Australia, right here in Southeast Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Yes, the international break is over and this is Salon's blog. It is all about Chelsea, and sometimes one or two other news from other clubs around the world. But dear friend, this morning, it is going to be Chelsea. Welcome back. Hey, guys, we are back. And guess who is back as well? Ladies and gentlemen, Nicolas Jackson is back at training. Finally. At least, we will now finally have someone who can drive the ball from the midfield into the attack. Maybe by giving away by way of assist, if not scoring at all, as most of you tell me. Maybe he will give an assist. Maybe he will create space for others to score the goals that we need. Jackson is back in the dear friends. Jackson is back. And our next game is going to be against Tottenham next Thursday. Yes. Against Tottenham next Thursday. Yeah. Then 3 days after, we will have against, is it Bournemouth or Brentford? 3 days after, that will be on Sunday. Guys, both Tottenham and the next game is not going to be easy. But with the coming back of Nicolas Jackson, Noni Madueke, and Cole Palmer, I'm sure Chelsea will be much more, an improved team. Oh, yes. Right now, I don't think we'll have Enzo Maresca. We don't have so much excuses to give. I just want to believe that Chelsea can get a job done against Tottenham. But between now and then, there is so much work we need to do. Yeah, we'll be talking a lot here. We'll be talking about tactics. We'll be talking about formations. We're talking about players, the transfer market. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, let me say this. Noni Madueke, as we understand, Newcastle and Aston Villa are keeping an eye on the situation of Noni Madueke. Chelsea could opt to cash in to fund a new summer signing. Not just that, this is a report from Fabrizio Romano, and it's not just Noni Madueke. Ladies and gentlemen, we can also add Christopher Nkunku to the list of outgoing players this summer. Christopher Nkunku, we understand, according to Fabrizio Romano, yes, according to Fabrizio Romano, he wants to play regularly. The player, Christopher Nkunku, wants to play regularly. For now, full focus is on securing Champions League football. Until that is done, then we expect Christopher Nkunku might also be leaving this summer. Unless there's a Champions League football. Chelsea's main target is the Champions League football. Otherwise, any player that will make the request will be allowed to go. Nkunku knows he's needed in the next games. Christopher Nkunku himself knows that he is fully needed in the games coming up. Chelsea has to finish the season strong and qualified for the Champions League. I don't think our aim is to be on the 5th position. Though 5th right now in England, even the 5th team qualified for Champions League next season. Yeah, the 5th place team qualified for Champions League next season in England, in the EPL. But Chelsea's aim is top 4. Top 4 is Chelsea's aim, dear friends. Yeah. If there is anything to expect to beef up this squad in the summer, in terms of goalkeeping, Petrovic is expected back. Petrovic, and he was actually speaking over the weekend as we are on international break. Jorge Petrovic says, I have made more progress than I expected. I'm focused on finishing the season in the best possible way. We will see what happens in the summer. It could be a very good option to stay if Strasbourg plays in the Champions League. It will be a very good option to stay if Strasbourg plays in the Champions League. Not just that he wants to stay with Strasbourg. The fact remains that if Strasbourg, right now they are just 4 points away from Champions League position. Yes, they are now they are fourth on the league table in League One. Ahead of them is Monaco. That is placed on third position. So they will need to win their next, and right now it's also 8 games more for the season to end. They have 8 more games to play. Can they go 8 games unbeaten run and pray and hope that Monaco drop points? Oh yes. Rosenau is doing a great job with Strasbourg. The head coach of Strasbourg, Rosenau, is doing a very great job. Even yesterday, I think I brought it up that Southampton and Leicester, they are in for him. They want his signature as their next coach. Whether the Cleric group will let him go or not. You remember Strasbourg is also under Cleric. Yes, the same owners as Chelsea. Dear friends. But Petrovic, next season, I believe that without, with or without Champions League football with Strasbourg, he will be expected to return to Chelsea. It is Chelsea that calls the shot. It's Chelsea that calls the shot. And I don't know what exactly is it that Enzo Maresca doesn't like about this guy. I'm not too sure what exactly is about him that Enzo Maresca doesn't like. I would have expected that he will return and be part of the first team. In fact, being Chelsea #1 next season. I was expecting him to be Chelsea's #1 next season. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, and hey, Jadon Sancho, yes, the international break is over. So the news are flipping in left and right. Chelsea's position on Sancho currently is said that full focus on securing Champions League first. All these players, the full focus of Chelsea right now is to secure Champions League. Then only they'll be sure which players to maintain. Because the challenge, the problem with the players is that they are not getting playing time. And even at all, they have European football to play. But Conference League, they are not comfortable. Most of these players, they feel like, no, we've passed the stage of playing Conference League. These are big players. Trust me. Noni Madueke, Jadon Sancho, Christopher Nkunku, these are not mid-table players. They've passed that stage of playing mid-table teams. These players should be firing in top 4 teams, be it in England or elsewhere. Yes. So for them to be struggling right now, it's like the entire Chelsea squad is struggling. And that is my biggest problem with this head coach, Enzo Maresca, which he fails to see. What? Because it's like all of our attacking players are not performing to their peak yet. All of our attacking players, we have about 10 games to play or 11. All of our attacking players are not firing the way we expected. And he put a blame solely on the fact that Nicolas Jackson is not available. And Noni Madueke is not available, all through injury. McGuire not available through injury. Then Kopama losing form before even his own injury. Ladies and gentlemen. But Jadon Sancho, according to sources, Chelsea's aim is to qualify for Champions League football next season. Then they will decide if they want to buy him for £25 million or send him back to Manchester United. So you could see, Champions League football is very, very crucial right now going forward from this moment. Ladies and gentlemen, it is your breakfast. I will not take much time. I have some of your shout out here. Yes, some of your comments here I want to bring out to you quickly before I let you guys go. I'll be back. A lot is happening. I have a lot here right now. But due to time, it is breakfast. I would not like to take much time. Quickly, let me take it from here. Shout out. Yes. This one says, mind you, it's very difficult for Chelsea to engage in 2 African players without considering Africa Cup of Nations. Oh, means that Chelsea signing 2 African players without considering Africa Cup of Nations, right? Yeah. Most European clubs now, most top clubs now don't want to sign African players due to the Africa Cup of Nations. Because the Africa Cup of Nations that normally comes off around January. It's a peak time for most of the clubs, and then they end up losing those players to their various nations in Africa for that tournament. For instance, if let's say Jackson was on top form and Africa Cup of Nations is in January, that January period is a crucial moment. So for the player to go for AFCON, it affects the clubs. That is why most clubs, in fact, a team like Manchester United, if you observe them carefully, they don't like buying Africa players. Oh yes. Go back and check. They can buy blacks. They have blacks in the team. But blacks from Belgium, blacks from France, you know. But to buy a player from Africa, as an African player, they don't. I'm not saying they never bought before. They once in a while, yes. But it's not part of them because they know they don't want to be losing players in that period of a season. Your name is please let me have your name in your next comment. Let me have your name in your next comment. This one says, stop with your crazy math. My crazy math on Nigeria, right? When I was doing the calculation yesterday on Nigeria. All right, I hear you, boss. I hear you, boss. I hear you. Okay. Mark what? What's the name? Mark say. Please let me have your names and where you are watching us from. Let me have your name and where you are watching us from. This one says, why it's that you don't come live? My goodness. Don't worry. We will start coming live of late. Before every Chelsea game, we'll try to come live. Yeah, so next Thursday, expect us to come live before the game kickstart. Dear friend, all right, big shout out to you. Remember, send me your name and where you are watching us from. Your name and where you are watching us from. And big shout out to you, all you guys out there. Big shout out to you guys all out there. Yes, my friend Sadiq is here. Sadiq says, Nigerian players are not serious at all. Sadiq, big shout out to you. This one from Peter Omar says, stop negative predictions. Negative predictions about who? Come again, please. Let me understand you carefully. The next one says, coming from George Elson. George Elson says, honest speaking, this channel is starting boring. I'm surprised to see a sports blogger, a top-notch as you are, giving the globe selective analysis in favor of Ghana and Nigeria. How can Zimbabweans feel with this channel? If you give clearer picture that you don't want Zimbabwe or other teams to draw or beat your national home teams, which means you need to be followed by only Ghana and Nigeria fans. My hands are up. I have admitted that I don't have to be partial when I'm analyzing the games. But I think Zimbabwe, drawn with Nigeria yesterday, my problem is with the Nigerian national team, not with Zimbabwe. Nigeria had the opportunity to beat other teams when the qualifiers started, but they failed to do so. And if you understand the banter between Nigeria and Ghana as well, if you go on social media, the banter between Nigeria and Ghana, for Ghana failing to qualify for the AFCON, what Nigerians did to Ghana. So I try to play it gentle on Nigeria, dear friend. Not that I'm even supporting them. I just want to be gentle so that they don't come after me. Anyway, my dear friend, that's coming from George Elson, right? Okay, big shout out to you, my dear friend George Elson. Big shout out to you out there. Yeah, this one says Odunayo Oyo coming. Yes, says it was a shambolic performance from those guys, including the coach. How on earth could coach who lack game management? You substituted Osimhen when you still have another striker, Olo Kodare, on the pitch. You still threw in another striker into the pitch instead of you to reinforce the midfield, soak up the pressure and try to win that game without lone striker. Some players like Iwobi, Ndidi should bid the Super Eagles farewell because they do not play for the country anymore, including some fringe players apart from Osimhen, who gave his all best. Even when he was substituted, he was still gearing up his teammates. Look at our so-called captain, ball looking for the equalizing goal. I saw that also and I was really shocked. That ball where Zambia took the ball from their own area, did 4 passes to 4 different players of Zambians. 4 different Zambian players received the ball before even they struck, before they got a goal. And Nigerian players were just standing ball watching. They were standing ball watching, dear friend. Anyway, Odunari Oyo from Lagos State, Nigeria. Big shout out to you guys all out there. Let me leave it there. The international break is over. We shall be back with more exclusives in the coming hours on Chelsea. See you guys when you see me. Shalom and peace.